All right, welcome to another video of the Target Individual Program, Target Individual Experience. So I didn't expect to do a video so soon, but earlier today, actually earlier tonight, I told my daughter to go take a bath. Right now, she had not bathed since yesterday morning. Right, and so I was sitting to her on the living room chair, and I told her she needed to take a bath because her underarm was pretty bad. Right, she didn't use deodorant today. So I said to her, well, you need to go take a bath and then you need to put on deodorant. So I told her this about 8 o'clock. Right? Now Pam comes in, she put away the groceries. I told my daughter again, go take a bath. Came in the kitchen, I was making fish cake so they can have for the week. Right? Because Ethan is home. He doesn't have school. He has summer school that's coming up. So my daughter has school until next week, I think, and then she's got like a week or two off, and then she goes to summer school. So I tell her, go take a bath. Okay, I told her again the second time about 10 to 15 minutes later. So I'm making a fish cake now, and she came in. I gave her some fish cake, sent her to go take a bath, and what do you think happened? What was that, Ethan? Um, all right, I had to pause the video. So yeah, so I said to her again, as you know, when I gave her the fish cake, I said, okay, you need to go take a bath. You finish eating. Still didn't go take a bath. Finally, she came in the kitchen, and I saw her with went in the microwave to get a beef patty, and I didn't even realize that Pam put beef patty in the microwave. It is past 10 o'clock at night. Okay, so I said to her, go take a bath. So then Pam comes in now. She's like, oh, let her finish eat this. I said, no, I've told her to take a bath since 8 o'clock. I said, this is why when I call you to check on the kids during the week, you always tell me about how, you tell her to go take a bath and she says she's hungry. I said the reason why she keep doing it is because you allow it. Instead of making her go take a bath, you want to fall into her trick so she doesn't want to take a bath. I said you got to understand children's mentality and mindset. So I just got really upset and I just started yelling. I said, you need to stop doing this shit. I said, from the time these kids turn into toddlers and they were with me, most of the time they were listening, right? By helping them with their homework, this and that. You make a decision to disrupt all of that. That's what you did, okay? Then for the past 2 years, because of COVID, she has not done anything to sit down with these kids to help them with their homework and study. I have. Every time I come here, I make sure that they read and study. My son had regions. Not once did she attempt to study. I had to attempt to study and actually make him study. Okay, and she keeps encouraging this sort of behavior. No discipline, no structure. All right, so I go into the bedroom now, just to tell her, listen, I can't bend down to put the fish cake in the fridge because earlier today when we was going down to help with the groceries, my daughters asked me if I know how to do it's a movie with Steve, The Jerk. So as I attempt to do the jerk, I just kind of jumped slightly and I came down and I had one of the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in my back. So after that I couldn't do anything. So I said I cannot bend down. I'm not bending down. So I'm helping with the groceries now. She knows that my back is hurt because I just explained what happens. So she goes now as I'm bringing the groceries to give it to her. But again, she tried to cause me further injury. So what does she do? She's on her phone. I'm talking to her. Pamela, come and take the groceries. Take it out of my hands. Here. She's on her phone. And I said to her, listen, you know my back hurts. So at that point, I said to her, you know what? You take out the groceries of the cart. I'm no longer doing it. Because if she was like, well, I got an important text. What important text? Because some gay friend of hers, one of her high school friends who, is a lesbian, what have you, text her to tell her that her nephew keeps running away, right? Because his father left his stepmother. And I'm like, this is what these white supremacists are doing. Because they understand and they know that black children being raised with their fathers succeed more than black children being raised by their mothers only. Or have the mothers in the, living with single household mothers. So now they're trying to change the narrative, right? Understand how these people work, how these races work. But they cannot dismiss the statistics. the results. And so reinforcing in the minds of black women now that, okay, now these kids are, they're running away from their dads and all this stuff. Again, all trying to change the narrative because they understand how they condition black women to be dysfunctional, highly hyper materialistic, no shame, unhealthy behaviors, unhealthy eating, unhealthy mindset. See, what these women don't understand, our women don't understand, particularly the vast majority of them, right, is that the women, the women are the ones who create the nations, but it's the men who train that nation to be physically strong, mentally tough. So what happens when you remove the men? Now you get kids that are weak, effeminized, right? Eating fast food, junk food, changing their their physical stature. My son prom, those girls in the same grade as him, they're twice as tall as them, already fully developed. Okay, understand what it is that they're doing and how these chemicals are changing the bodies of our kids, either to become obese and develop like they're grown women in their 20s and 30s. You don't see this in no other community except the black community. And like I said, nothing that happens in our community is by chance or an accident or not by God, by so-called God. It is all planned by these white racists, implemented, put into action, and they already know the results. And they're using the whole financial thing with our women to create this mindset that they don't need men. All right? Destroying the black nation, destroying black people in America and black children. So I go into the kitchen, into the bedroom now to Pam to, like I said, just to let her understand that, listen, she needs to stop doing that. So as she's talking to me, she's not looking at me now, right? She starts kicking her feet out, like, 'cause she has on these blue nail polish. And then she's looking looking into her closet. I also mean it's a subliminal message, closet of gay, what have you, or closet of lesbian. I don't give a shit. Like I said, obviously she needs to be in the closet because she's not proud of who she is. Because if you're a lesbian, whatever, gay, be proud of it. But like again, with narcissists, particularly those that have unhealed traumas, who refuse, and particularly this is going to a lot of black women, a lot of European women, I should say. They don't think they need therapy because they got God, they got Jesus. Well, how's that working, I feel? Okay, instead of supporting and standing by your men, they got you to abandon your men and also to abandon your kids. Abandon their education, abandon them emotionally, abandon them physically. And so what do you think happened? You're continuing the program. Not a curse, it's a program. In order for you to break that cycle, to break that programming, okay, you need to understand the truth and accept that truth and make a conscious effort going forward to do the exact opposite of how they condition you to be. That's detrimental to yourself, people around you, including your very own children. Same goes to the men. Okay? The men don't get off the hook. Okay? But most men today understand what's really going on. And most men today did what needs to be done to change things around. So more men today understand what's going on and are trying to do better, even though we may be in a depressed economic situation, but that's nothing new to us. We want our women to understand how they're being used and played against us. But these women, forget it, because they've also been affected by drugs, which change or rewire their brain, propaganda all the time, okay? Trauma from childhood, whether it be physical abuse, sexual abuse, but that's a conditioning too in the minds of the abuser, because they themselves were abused, or they themselves were manipulated. And like I said, go and look at technology, silent sound spectrum, changing a person consciousness. Go and look at Dr. Delgado in his article in the New York Times, 1970. What kind of human do we want to create? They have the ability to create within us whoever they want us to be. Because why? We're not aware of it. We're highly religious, so we blame everything on God, on the devil, and give all the praises to God. Saying God spoke to me. God don't speak to you. I keep telling you, God don't speak to you. It's your ancestors and your DNA. When they become awakened, your consciousness become awakened. Okay, you become, and if you do the research, you start studying, right? You start speaking out against the injustices. You start caring and loving your people. Guess what? You can become a Christ, or you become a Christ. Not some fairy tale person coming down in the sky on a horse. Revelation's already happened. It ain't happening again. And God don't speak to you, like I always said. If these Christians talk about God spoke to them, it's a lie. The very own Bible tell them that. Okay? The very own Bible tell them that God shut off communication from human beings. Why? Because the crucifixion of so-called Jesus Christ. Okay? Come on. Do you guys really truly understand and believe what you guys say you believe in and reading it? They're making a mockery and a fool out of us. And we continue to perpetuate this bullshit. This is why they will attempt to set up every one of us. And don't think that the white supremacists are not doing that. Okay? I gotta give the white supremacists, these white racists, credit. I give them credit where credit is due. They've done a masterful job of manipulating us, controlling us, creating the mindset that we have today, making us thinking that we're independent thinkers. We make our own decisions. Really. Well, I tell you what, become conscious. Start to speak out against the wrongs and the ills and the injustice of this society, and see what happens. They will attack you with the ferociousness, the fierceness. Okay? But guess what? Once you make that conscious decision, you already know what's going to happen. But you still do it anyway. Why? Because knowledge makes a man or woman unfit to be a slave. And what they've created, is a slave mindset. Right? We break the chains, the physical chain. But our ancestors, greats who passed on, and those are still living today, have tried to tell us that. Breaking the chains of psychological slavery. Okay? But that's even harder now because of the development and creation of these weapons. But you can't do it. Alright? You can certainly do it. And we can do it. But we have to love ourselves and love each other enough to want to do it for our children. Not just for ourselves, but for our children. We have to get back into doing things for the future generations, like they did in the past, the civil rights movement, the liberation movement in Africa and across the diaspora. They are trying to stamp out any warrior mindset, any warrior mentality, revolutionary mentality. With that being said, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.